we are guiding customers that they need to have a business strategy. And AI is part of that business strategy. AI is not a separate strategy, right?
Hey everyone, Chip Rogers back again with another episode of Inside Partnering, and so excited to be joined by Samrah Khan, who is head of SI Partners for North America at Google. And Samrah, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're here in the Palo Alto Google offices, and it's a quiet Friday. Right?
It is a quiet Friday, that is right.
Yeah. So ordinarily more, I think middle of the week tends to be more, busy and bustling. You're actually based in the San Francisco office most of the time, but have meetings down here in Palo Alto and I'm sure Mountain View as well regularly.
In Sunnyvale, which is our cloud headquarters.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm up and down the peninsula all the time.
All the time. Well, I'm just so thrilled to talk with you, Samrah. You've had a long career in technology. With MuleSoft and like 5 years, I think, now with Google, and managing a number, always in partner sales, managing partners. And with Google, you've had a really interesting background, both with managing ISVs, and now you're managing all of the SI partners, not the global SIs and not the small, sort of long tail, but the meat of all the SI partners.
That is correct, yes. It's been a pretty interesting journey, but almost 5 years at Google in a few different roles. ISV partnerships on the horizontal side, ISV partnerships on the industry side, and then now I lead the North America SI team.
That's fantastic. Well, I love that industry experience as well. We'll come back to that. I think it's, when you get into industries, it's always really interesting, and you get into really meaty use cases and in each industry. So.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what you and your team. Let's just start there. What are you and your team up to these days, and what are your objectives with Google?
Yeah, we are actually very much tied to what Google Cloud priorities are for the year, and my charter and role is obviously to tie our partnership goals and priorities to what the cloud's overall priorities are. And there are literally three things that we're really focused on this year. Number one is it's very important for us to do net new customer acquisition. So we're very focused in working with our partners, driving success for them and for us by acquiring net new logos for Google. The second one is, all around the AI, as you all know.
What a surprise.
Yes. It almost sounds cliche to say AI, right? You can't do any podcast without saying AI anymore. So the second one is that we're really focused on winning the AI war, and we understand it's very, very critical. And because of Google's deep expertise and 2 decades of work and history in AI, that we are very well positioned to do that. And I think partners play an instrumental role in that, because the way technology is changing and moving, we really need our partners to be working with us side by side. And last but not the least is all around driving consumption or revenue for cloud. And I think partners play a really instrumental role in that, because we're very much focused in building amazing products and platforms for our customers, but ultimately it is our partners that come in and do the implementation, in many cases management of those services within our customer base that drives consumption for us. So those are the three key things that are cloud priorities, and we are aligning our partners in our business and in my team specifically to that.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. And you're absolutely right. It's the partners that are really, and talk about industry solutions, they're the ones that really know the use cases and have deep expertise within industries. So your background, having come from industry, is really relevant.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that we look at, the partner landscape and how services partners or the services industries is now partnering with hyperscalers is tremendously changing from where we were, let's say, 2 years ago or even 18 months ago. We are really looking at partners now that bring domain expertise, but bring domain expertise or industry expertise, not just post-sales, but also pre-sales. So actually, they're out with our account teams and our field teams teams with the customers, having conversation before the deal even closes or before a product is even adopted by a customer, to really understand what took place at the front end for the customer to adopt, whether it's agent space or whether it's BigQuery or our Gemini platform, etc. So our model is really evolving where Google is leaning in a lot more towards partners that have domain expertise and also pre-sales expertise, and I think that's where we're seeing the big momentum in the market on cross collaboration and mutual success.
That's really interesting. That sort of pre-sales emphasis, I could really see that being valuable, especially because I think today so many companies and enterprises are trying to figure it out, right? So it's part of the process of like, how are we going to put all these things together to really have strong impact in the company and for their customers. And so that expertise is really valuable.
Exactly. And, the partners are always looking for guidance, and they're like, hey, what AI conversations should we be having with the customers, or, what is Google seeing? What is like customers' AI strategy? And I'm like, we are guiding customers that they need to have a business strategy. And AI is part of that business strategy. AI is not a separate strategy, right? It's like we went through this journey of digital transformation, two-phase IT. Now we went through this phase of people in 2023, early 2024 having an AI strategy, and now it's like AI is just part of your business. Right. So you need to have your business planning, you need to have your business strategy, whether it's cost optimization, whether it's top-line revenue, whether it's employee productivity, depending on the industry you are in, and then AI just sort of is part of your business strategy. And that's why the partners that understand the domain then understand the business, and because they understand the business, they are in a much better position to then guide the customer towards what are the right technologies out there the customer should be considering. And without having that domain expertise and those business outcome conversations, I think you're just sort of waiting for the customer or the hyperscaler and the customer to make a decision, and then you just come in later to do the work, which is good enough, just not too interesting.
Well, and it leads me to the question for you, but the topic that I think is really interesting, which is co-selling, and what you're describing is exactly that, right? It's putting the field teams together from Google and from the FSRs, as well as the industry leads for partners, and probably have technology leads as well, and putting that sort of virtual account team together. Yep. To go build something that has value for customers.
Absolutely. Our whole go-to-market in North America actually is built around co-selling, and Google in itself in the region in North America has done investment where we have dedicated industry-specific co-sell teams and region-specific co-sell teams that are sort of, I would call them a conduit between our partners, my team, as well as the field sales team.
Scott Barneson and his team.
Part of his team, yeah. Scott has recently changed roles, so we wish him luck. But a portion of his team, yeah. And we are expecting the same with our partners. So, for example, starting last year, we were very intentional in asking our partners to invest in Google Cloud business units, and that does not mean that they have to have a team of 50 people or 100 people running around. But we need to see the same investment from the partners in terms of, do you have salespeople that wake up every morning thinking about Google Cloud services, or do you have alliances people that are putting governance in place around business planning, business metrics measurement, around quarterly booking reviews, etc. And then having field CTO or solution architects that are deep experts in Google Cloud technology. So there is a good synergy from our partner engineering team, our co-sell team, our partner management team, in working in collaboration on day-to-day basis with the same people that are all waking up to the same goals every morning, as opposed to, hey, we'll go to the customer, depending on if the customer says, I want the red apple or the green apple, just offer the customer whatever apple is there, just be more intentional.
That's terrific. So you just described an entire go-to-market, right, with partners, which is I'm sure is both really valuable for Google, but also really valuable for the partners as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think it's a two-way street, right? So we have put the construct in place for that specific reason, because we understand that there's kind of three legs to engaging with the partner. There's the whole product solution element to him. So we have teams, technical teams focused on that. There is like the co-selling element to it, which comes before the implementation starts. So there is a whole go-to-market aspect to that. And there is like the partner management and programs and strategy and marketing aspect to that. And then we have right teams that we have built to support that whole construct. And we expect, the same mapping from the partner's perspective, depending on how deep their engagement is with us, what size and scale they're operating on. And then, of course, we pick the areas to go to market. So we're very intentional. So we're picking a couple of industries. We're picking 2 or 3 solutions where the partner really has a differentiated story on Google Cloud, and so that's the message that we're taking to the customer. So if it's let's use Oracle as an example. If it's Oracle and Google Cloud, like what is the data story around that that's differentiated, that's out in the market, that we're taking to the customers.
So, at Google Next, there were some really exciting announcements around AI, agent to agent, and a number of marketplace and all the some pretty exciting things around AI. How are you seeing partners be a part of that, both in terms of delivery and then in terms of their capabilities to help explain the story and build it into customers' solutions?
Yeah, I think, the world really has woken up in the last couple of years to this AI revolution in a way that I don't think any of us had imagined, maybe back in early 2023. So it's a pretty interesting time. AI has been around forever, but agentic AI has really changed the game, and now A2A even more. In my personal belief, I think we're going through this revolution or a journey right now where AI is going to even have a bigger and a more profound impact on our lives in our lifetime than internet or mobile, which I just couldn't think that we could top internet. And I think eventually we are already there, and this is just the beginning. And I think we will, the profound impact that we'll see from AI is probably bigger than that. So obviously the market, the demand both on the consumer side and on the enterprise side is tremendous, and I can quote many different use cases and stories around AI that have improved my life in a personal way, and then obviously is improving lives and my life in a professional way, and just for enterprises in general. Partners play a very critical role because the technology is changing very fast.
Yeah. So fast. It's crazy.
Than something we've ever seen. I was telling my team what we're selling today didn't exist 6 weeks ago.
It's true.
In a hyperscaler world, that's just just unheard of, right? If you go way back 15 years ago, or 20 years ago at the start of the infrastructure, right? Like infrastructure, just getting stuff on the infrastructure was like a 2-year, 3-year journey, right? And now we are at
capital investments and all.
Massive capital investment to shadow IT to move things from on-prem to cloud, but you need something in between, etc. And now it's just like we're talking to customers and partners about stuff that didn't exist 6 months. So which means we're pushing out a lot of learning and training and enablement. And I think the response from the partners have been tremendous. I mean, our incoming response from partners wanting to get on our agent space platform, get expertise built on it is humongous. And then building connectors and deploying connectors and doing custom agent work on our leveraging our AI platform has been amazing. And some of the partners that are more innovative culturally and in nature, I have been faster to pick it up. Partners that are closer to having line of business conversations to some extent are able to adopt this technology much faster. because a lot of use cases and a lot of decision making is moving away from IT to line of business use cases because
Sure.
solving specific problem.
Yeah.
So I think those are the partners that have, in my mind, sort of like a speed start. But I think, literally, even I've seen in the traditional system integrator business, some of the traditional SIs have really upped their game. The Magic Quadrant just came out a few days ago, and I was fairly surprised to see for generative AI where the key players landed in the ecosystem, and I was surprised by some of it also in a good way.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Well, and so along those lines, how are you seeing, sort of new partners emerging that maybe didn't have, weren't, but they've just really been on their game in AI? Has AI really impacted the partners that you're working with?
Absolutely, and I think, the trend that I am noticing or we're noticing is the landscape of what does it mean to be solution services provider or system integrator with AI to some extent is changing. Historically, if you are doing infrastructure deployments and those kind of deployments, you really need to have a big size bench and you need to have very specific kind of expertise on a specific hyperscaler, and that's how you go and you engage a customer. Now, with the evolution of generative AI or agentic AI, we're seeing a lot of smaller size partners that don't need that massive infrastructure deployment, migration, delivery bench. People rather very specific AI deep expertise type of folks that are going in. They understand a specific industry. Let's use retail CPG or tech ISVs or something like that. They have specific use case, whether it's change management, whether it's like customer user experience or like enterprise search or internal search or something like that, or employee productivity for that matter. And they're going and they're delivering these use cases and solving for these problems in like 6 to 10 weeks. Right, like to get started. So I think the project timelines, the type of people you need, what they're doing, who they're talking to, all of that in the last year or 18 months has shifted significantly. That has given opportunity to non-traditional system integration or solution service provider to come up. And I think it'll be a miss to not mention the data portion of it. We're seeing that system integrators that have invested in data expertise and use cases are having a lot more success with AI than partners that were not focused in that area. And the reason for that is that you need to have your data strategy sorted out. You need to have your game plan for your data plan, and especially around security.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Especially around security, in order to leverage AI, efficiently and effectively. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, if you're living, because everybody's out of the POC world now, right? We're actual production use cases out there. So I think it's very, very critical that partners and customers that are really thinking about their end-to-end data strategy and putting that in place, are going to see much more leverage out of AI than the ones that are, again, separating AI from everything else.
I love that. So industry expertise, line of business expertise, data.
Yeah.
Co-selling really
with us, pre-sales.
That's right. Fantastic. So, Samrah, let's talk a little bit about co-innovation, working with partners, and I know you have a history with ISVs, and of course there's a lot of sort of technology integration there. Yeah. But even with SIs, there's still co-innovation that you're doing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And we are always big on talking about how is 1 + 1 = 3 with the partner. And, you do it by a couple of different ways. Number one, either you are building an industry or a domain-specific solution that leverages Google Cloud's unique platform capabilities, whatever they may be. It could be an AI platform, it can be a data platform, it can be search, it can be, various different things. Or the second way you are doing 1 + 1 = 3 is that our partners are actually building their own IP that leverages Google Cloud. So without mentioning partner names or their platform,
Sure.
like there's an example would be, there's a partner that does app modernization and mainframe modernization in the financial services space, and they have built a platform that leverages Gemini for modernizing the code, whether it's COBOL or something else, right? Like that's a very unique, differentiated story that when we go to the banking customers, only this partner and Google can tell together. Right?
Wow. What a great story for that partner.
Exactly.
Right?
Or like in healthcare, it's all around, that outside of HIPAA compliance, there are many other data regulations, and, the data is kind of spread between payer, providers, clinicians, etc. The ability to aggregate all of that data with data compliance, etc. And then a partner building sort of a use case where a clinician, when seeing a patient, can see the reports or analysis from multiple different sources and kind of getting a summary. Again, is a very specific use case where the partners are really differentiating. So we're seeing a lot of that where our partners are leveraging our technology and building their own differentiated IP, or they're building a solution on Google Cloud's platform that leverages our platform. So I think that's going to continue to be the key, because Google's approach is that we want to enable our customers to be multi-cloud, hybrid cloud, right? We don't want to lock customers in, and we've all seen the trend in the last 5 to 7 years that customers no longer want to make a bet on one vendor lockdown. They want to have the ability to make certain decisions and have flexibility. And so I think it just makes sense, from how we're engaging with the partner on, what our customers are looking for and aligning the two things together.
That's terrific. So again, what a great story for a partner. I assume that when you have those really great, use cases and stories where the partner has really invested, right? They've invested to build capability. Then you help them go to market both with customers, but also enablement in the field.
So we, absolutely, right? So the partners that are investing in building differentiated solutions with Google Cloud, that are investing in putting together the Google Cloud Business Unit, as we call it, or Google GBU, there is reciprocity from the Google side, right? We're intentional in the region in managing those partners with assigned folks, named folks that they work with on day-to-day basis. We support them by measuring our folks internally on the performance on how the partnership is doing overall. We have marketing and funding dollars to give to the partners that support that marketing plan that feeds into the go to market. And then we have various different programs and tools and incentives, whether it's a deal acceleration fund before the pre-sales to do workshop and POC, or post-sales funding for implementation and stuff like that. So we have incentives around that. And then if we are looking at any specific play, so like maybe VMware or Oracle or something like that, then we have specific incentives around that for partners that are really focused on those specific plays. So I think there is a wide variety of incentives and marketing dollars and funding involved to support the overall business plan that we put together with the partner.
That's amazing. Maybe one more topic around, working with partners at Google. Let's talk about measurement. Like, how do you measure partners, and how do you measure your own impact, the impact the partners are having with Google?
Yeah. It all ties back to the three priorities that Google Cloud has. So, in order for us to measure the relationship with the partner, obviously it's a partnership, so it's a two-way street, right? That we keep an eye on, from the partner's perspective, how their services revenue is growing with Google Cloud. Obviously, that's very important. We want to make sure our partners that are making a bet on us are successful. From Google's perspective, we align to the three priorities, and and we look at which are the partners that are helping us, with net new logo acquisition, which ones are the partners that are driving consumption, so, actual revenues for us, and which ones are the partners that are really focused on driving the AI business with us and the revenue associated with us. So those are pretty straightforward three metrics that we measure our partners on, that we measure our team on, and everybody's aligned, aligned behind it. And there are like some smaller subcomponents, but broadly speaking, those are the metrics and the services revenue for the partner, of course.
Makes complete sense, and it aligns with the business. What could be better?
Nothing.
Well, Samrah, this has been fantastic, first of all. I also would love to chat with you a little bit about the Women of MENA in technology. You've been a board member now for 5 years, tremendous organization, I think 100,000 members, which is, globally, and just amazing, and congrats, first of all. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, I've always been a big proponent of women in tech in general, and I've been part of various different agencies or groups or nonprofits throughout my life, and supported the initiative in a different way. I remember when I made a conscious decision to come to Google Cloud few years ago, I had committed to myself that I would use Google's platform to supporting the initiative for women in tech and in general, and that has many forms. It's about education, enablement, funding, entrepreneurship, mentoring, networking. So there's many aspects to it. And with the Women of MENA in tech, which is Middle East and North African, I think is a very underrepresented community. Like if you look at some of the stats, significant portion of women in Middle East and North Africa graduate with computer science or engineering or a STEM degree. Mm-hmm. However, in the workplace, their representation is really, really low. Mm. And so when I was looking at different organizations, I was trying to figure out where can I go that's underrepresented, where I can make an impact, where people are not doing enough. And that's how sort of I got involved initially as a volunteer, based out of San Francisco, and then eventually committed to being board member. And we do several different events throughout the year, as well as we run various different initiatives throughout the year that involve the uplifting and upbringing of women in tech in general. And I think in addition to that, outside of that, I'm involved with other organizations. Like in next month, I'm hosting an event at Google for AnitaB.org. I'm not sure if you have heard of Grace Hopper by any chance. So we're doing a Women in Tech, Empowering Women in Tech and Being Limitless event where some of the Google execs are also participating and supporting. So yeah, whatever I can do to help, because I'm a recipient of support throughout my career from various different folks, and I think it's important to give back to the community. And Google has been tremendous in giving me both space and support and being able to make it. So couldn't have done it without the company.
That's fantastic. Samrah, thank you so much for taking some time today and sharing all of the amazing things going on with SI partners with Google. And this has been fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was great talking to you.
So thank you all as well for joining another episode of Inside Partnering, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.